Winnie Mays is Vermilion's full-service Aveda salon and spa, located in the heart of historic downtown Vermilion.
Coming up on Coyote News, South Dakota COVID numbers continue to rise.
Plus, how the theater department adapts their plays to a COVID-friendly experience. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hi, I'm Aaliyah Berggraf.
And I'm Kyle Ireland. We'll get to those stories and more, but first, the USD Institute of American Indian Studies was established by the South Dakota legislature nearly 65 years ago. During Monday's Native American Day observation, President Sheila Gestring said it's time to strengthen ties to the indigenous people that inhabited South Dakota long before it became a state.
30 years ago, South Dakota made history by being the first state in the nation to unanimously agree to change the name from Columbus Day to Native American Day and declare 1990 as the year of reconciliation. Today, we as the USD community have the opportunity to continue that legacy and reaffirm that mission through action. It is my great honor to announce the revitalization of the Institute of American Indian Studies.
Assistant Professor for Native American Studies, Dr. Elise Boxer, will be the Institute's director. The Institute's overall goal is to provide educational and research opportunities for students and faculty that are interested in the history, culture, and language of the 9 federally recognized tribes located within South Dakota.
USD has a new assistant provost. Earlier today, Dr. Lisa Bono was named to the position in the Office of Academic Affairs. She replaced Dr. Bruce Kelly, who is now Dean for the College of Fine Arts. While Bono's workload will remain the same, she'll be working on ways to increase student retention in conjunction with the Academic and Career Planning Center, the Student Athlete Success Center, and the Gallagher Center for Experiential Learning and Education Abroad.
Governor Kristi Noem says the sudden rise in COVID-19 cases across South Dakota is due to an increase in testing. However, researchers say that within the last 14 days, the state has seen one of the nation's highest virus positivity rates at 23%. This would mean that South Dakota has an even higher rate of infections than the sudden increase in tests indicates. 302 people are currently hospitalized across the state because of COVID. 61 of those are in intensive care. South Dakota's 2 largest hospitals in Sioux Falls have no general care hospital beds available and only have 41% of their intensive care units ready to handle severe COVID cases or any other form of medical care. The number of deaths currently sits at 288 statewide. Cases have started to rise at USD since starting random testing of both students and faculty. The total active cases among students is 49 as of this morning. Coyote News' Sierra Prue is live in the muck to learn the cause of the sudden spike in cases in the campus community. Sierra?
Thanks, Kyle. I'm here with Kevin O'Kelly, head of COVID case management here at USD. Kevin, thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure.
Cases have began to rise here at the university. Have you and your COVID task force noticed any patterns involved in this rise and what potential sources there might be because of it?
Thank you for asking that question, Sierra. We have also noticed the rise in cases at USD. We've been actively looking at the individual cases, looking for patterns. A couple of things combined. We have a higher positive case rate in the state of South Dakota. We all know this. We don't live in an isolated bubble. We live in the state of South Dakota. So it's inevitable that the higher percentage rate in South Dakota is going to cause an increase in infection rates among our student population. That's going to happen. Secondly, we had D-Days, and we have a surge of cases 7 to 9 days after D-Days, as we hoped would not happen, but as did happen. So those 2 things combined to create this unwelcome increase in cases on campus.
And randomly issued COVID cases for students and faculty began in September. What observations has the COVID task force made because of those random tests? Have they helped? Have they not?
Well, we just started them in October, Sierra. Sierra, so this is only our third week of them, so we don't have a lot of data yet. We're hoping to get 5% of our population tested monthly, but we're not achieving that goal yet. The imperative to get tested is often lost on people we randomly draw. They're not sick, they might not feel like they need to get tested, but we're encouraging them to get tested because the story is, if you're sick, if you're physically sick with COVID-19, you will get medical care. But half the people with COVID-19 are asymptomatic and yet infectious, and we're looking for that half of our population right now. So we don't have solid results yet, but we hope to within a couple of weeks.
Yes, and I believe something we're all concerned about is the impact that COVID has on us as students, as this community, as this state. What is that impact specifically?
We did a survey recently of those students that we identified with COVID-19, as well as those who were asked to quarantine as close contacts. And we found that students are very worried about the impact of COVID-19 on their grades, if they need to access their education remotely. They're concerned about their emotional well-being because their social life is curtailed. But we also found the students are, in general, very happy with the response that USD has put forward to help them access their education and take care of them when they're in quarantine and isolation. So it's a mixed bag. We know what students want, and we're delivering it pretty well, I think, but there's no getting around the fact that COVID-19 does interrupt a person's life.
Absolutely, and here at USD, of course, we are trying to protect the pact. What can further be done to mandate the proper usage of masks within on-campus buildings?
Well, mandating things is difficult. We are relying on the goodwill and the team spirit of all Yotes, not just our students, but also our staff and faculty. This is a voluntary effort to protect each other. My actions affect you, and your actions affect me. If we can sustain that for just 5 or 6 more weeks, we can get through this and come back safely in January, again as a pack. The things we can do in addition to what we're doing now is to extend our precautions. We wear masks in classrooms. Well, you might consider wearing them outdoors. We wash our hands every half hour. We might wash them every 15 minutes. Do what you've been doing. Just kind of double down on it right now.
Absolutely, and colder weather means more inside time than what we're going to be used to what we're having right now. So I think we both can agree that protecting the pack is being
My advice would be to hang with your people you normally hang with. Try to avoid strangers and new people.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin. Any questions or concerns regarding COVID-19, make sure to take those to the COVID-19 task force here at USD. Live in the muck, I'm Sierra Prue.
Thanks, Sierra. So Kyle, I know I have said this the past couple of weeks, but it's really starting to look and feel like autumn outside. So what can we see in the weather going forward?
Well, Leah, the clouds are going to be out and making the rest of the week feel a lot colder. Right now, it's 63 degrees outside with a 20% chance of rain throughout the day. Tonight brings a low of 31 with heavy wind gusts reaching up to 40 miles per hour. Tomorrow, we'll start to see clouds blocking the sun with a high of 54 and a low of 33. Friday brings much of the same temperature and feel going into the weekend where it starts to get cold, with the high on Saturday being in the high 50s and the high on Sunday being in the low 40s with a 30% chance of showers. Rain and heavy winds make for less visibility while driving. You can check a weather radar before traveling to determine the safest driving condition. And that's fall for your Coyote weather.
Thanks, Kyle. Coming up on Coyote News, the theater department's COVID-friendly version of Angels and Demons.
I like shooting live because you have a greater responsibility. You get to go out, get hands-on experience in the field, and you know it's leading you to something great for the future. I really like the teamwork and being able to communicate with people. We all know what jobs we're supposed to be doing, and we all know what needs to get done. There's something about being live outside of the studio. Being on your own, it's just a different energy. I like being part of a team and working together to get the perfect interview. I think it's worth it from all the experience and all the skills you're going to get from it. It definitely helps you break down some barriers and opens you up to new experiences.
Lately, you might have seen one of these red stands around campus and wondered, hey, what's the Volant? Well, actually, it's pronounced the Volant. We've served as the student's voice since 1887. We capture the moments and the stories that matter and bring them to you for free on both digital and print platforms. News, verb, sports, opinion. It's important to you, it's important to us, because, well, we're one and the same. We're the Volant. Pick us up.
This is Coyote News.
Spring class you really need to graduate might already be filling up. It's advising time, and students across the campus are meeting with advisors and picking their next courses. The spring semester begins in less than 3 months, and there are still students who aren't fully enrolled. And it's not just the first-year students. The USD portal provides a registration date for individual students, but an advisor is the only person who can lift an academic hold so that registration can start. That makes meeting with an advisor a crucial part of registering for classes. To enroll for the spring, students can go to their MyUSD portal, then registration self-service, register for classes, and click on Spring 2021. Once a student completes 75 credit hours, it's time to order a degree audit. The audits supersede the listings found in DegreeWorks, providing complete information on the courses needed to graduate. Once enrollment is complete, it's still possible to add or drop a class. The forms for that are also on the registrar's webpage.
Students living on campus this semester are embarking on an unprecedented challenge for USD housing, attending class during a worldwide pandemic while trying to avoid major outbreaks in university dorms. As coronavirus cases and death rates in South Dakota skyrocket to an all-time state high and become the worst in the country per capita, students living in residence halls have become concerned about the future and whether or not they will be returning to live in the dorms for much longer.
When our COVID numbers were up, it was kind of, a lot of people were more scared of us getting kicked out, you know, and then having to go online the whole semester.
Director of Housing Kate Fitzgerald noted that students at USD sign a full academic year housing contract, but are billed one semester at a time. Therefore, if a student does not want to return to campus in the spring semester, Fitzgerald says to apply for a contract release. If approved, this would cancel their housing for the spring and no charge would be added to their SDE pay account. Fitzgerald added that unless something with COVID-19 changes, their operations will remain much the same for the spring. Details on how to apply for a contract release and other information can be found at the University Housing tab on usd.edu.
With the fall season steadily approaching and the trees and flowers starting to change, bees are an ever-present part of campus life. The flower beds that get planted every year around the muck are a common fly zone for bees and other insects that call USD's campus home. They eat the nectar of the flowers, as well as cross-pollinate the plants in order for them to grow and thrive. With the bees taking that space, students have taken notice.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I've noticed them a lot more around the muck and over at the halls actually.
Even though the flower beds are where the bees mainly fly around, they often buzz near trash cans and benches because of the sticky sweet residue left over from food and drinks. Being present as they are, some students aren't strictly fond of them.
I mean, I think they're important. They definitely, obviously all learn in grade school, they're pollinating things and, helping the plants to grow. Obviously, I don't like it if one's like trying to fly around me. I'm definitely afraid of them.
Many people are afraid of bees, but if you leave them alone, they'll more than likely leave you alone too.
Following their live stream production of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, the theater department's preparing for their next production, a mystery play originally performed by guilds across Western Europe.
Angels and Demons was written by anonymous authors from the Middle Ages and is translated by director Casey Paredes into modern English.
What's special about this play, I think, is that it has an interesting resonance. It is based on stories from the Bible, but we're not taking a really religious outlook of it. We're telling the stories.
Amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, actors must showcase their performance through alternative gestures.
COVID is crazy when it comes to theater, and so because we are so intimate with each other, and to have that kind of get taken away is so weird for what we do.
Special scenes have been adapted to COVID-19 regulations as well.
We use quarterstaffs for our fight sequence, and instead of actually making contact, we are across the room from each other, and we are using sound effects from the other castmates to create that illusion of us having a fight sequence.
Angels and Demons will virtually premiere later this month. For Coyote News, I'm Jackson Thorson.
You can find more behind-the-scenes footage and information about Angels and Demons on the USD Theater social media pages. So, Darian, I just heard that the Sanford Pentagon announced that they are going to be having a big tournament next month.
That's right, Aaliyah. We'll learn about that and more next in Coyote Sports.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. I'm Darian Bolden, and these are your Coyote Sports. Saturday's matchup between the number 10 ranked Florida Gators and LSU Tigers has been postponed after players within the Gator organization saw a surge in positive COVID-19 tests. Florida now has 18 positive tests among scholarship players, as well as 3 walk-ons. The athletic director also reports that all players were either asymptomatic or currently have mild symptoms, and contact tracing is currently being done to ensure no one else on the team or within the community gets sick. It's suspected that a couple of the Gator players distributed the virus when traveling to their game last week against Texas A&M after they said they had allergy-like symptoms that were not reported to team officials. The game has been rescheduled for the SEC's built-in bye week on December 12th. For the first time since 1949, the NFL has canceled plans to host its annual Pro Bowl. The decision was made in order for the league to focus more on completing its full regular season as well as its postseason, after positive coronavirus tests have caused team schedules to change. Las Vegas was supposed to host the game in its new stadium, which is now home to the team formerly known as the Oakland Raiders. Team reps say they'll host the game next season. The Pro Bowl teams will still be announced at the end of the season, following fan voting that begins on November 17th. Selected players will instead participate in what the NFL calls a variety of engaging activities, all held virtually. The Sanford Pentagon just announced it'll host the Bad Boys Mowers Crossover Classic on November 25th through the 27th. Teams competing include Creighton, Memphis, Dayton, Ohio State, Texas A&M, Utah, West Virginia, and Wichita State. The 8 teams have a combined 70 appearances in the Sweet 16 and 20 trips to the Final Four. There will be 12 games that will air live on ESPN Family Networks. Tickets will go on sale November 1st, with a limited amount available for each game. Masks will be required for all spectators. All personnel involved with the team's traveling group will be tested regularly for COVID-19 once they arrive in Sioux Falls. The teams will remain in a controlled bubble environment during the entire classic. Being a student athlete is no easy task, but what exactly does a day in their life look like? One USD football player is using a class project to show what he has to do every day, both on the field and in the classroom. A vlog made by tight end Brett Sampson shows viewers everything he, as well as his teammates, go through on a daily basis. Workouts, meals, and chores. This isn't the only project that athletes have been working on for class or in their free time. Others, like Caleb Vander Esch and Dakota Smith, have their own podcasts where they talk about everyday things that they've gone through as roommates, as well as teammates. Tennis player and international student Habiba Ali also had a podcast where she discusses how COVID-19 affects other international students, especially when traveling to and from their home countries. Coyote News, Sierra Prue is live in the muck to find out more about Ali's first podcast guest. Sierra?
Thanks, Darian. I am here with Habiba Ali, host of the Drop a Pin podcast. Habiba, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about this podcast called Drop a Pin.
So it's basically a fun and casual interview between me and one of our international athletes here. We talk about how they got here, why they chose USD, some of the misconceptions that they go through, and the difference between here and their hometown, and so on. It came basically from the idea that we all, when I talk to my friends and then other athletes, we all kind of have the same issues, not like issues, but the same things that we go through, and like the same misconceptions, but with different countries. And
Right, so speaking of those, what are some common things you've been hearing with you and your guest about the struggles of international students relating to COVID-19?
Okay, so with internationals, we really don't know, like, we don't have flight tickets back booked because we don't know when are we gonna be back. We treat, every one of us treated differently, like get treated with COVID differently from like here in the States. Like every country is treating the situation in a different way. We got used to it in our countries, but here it's different, and we don't know how to do, we don't know like the rules and everything. But it's mainly with us as athletes, is with practices, with going home because we really care about going back home, so we get to spend time with our families.
Of course, and I've made a ton of friends that are international. It's a great experience, of course. Who are some people we can expect to hear on your show?
So we had already Tassos, but then we are going through some internationals from track team, obviously tennis team, because we're all internationals. We are getting some from the golf. We are working on it, like we still work it one by one, basically.
That's awesome. And where can we all listen to Drop a Pin?
It is posted on the website on coyote.com, and it is posted on the Facebook page for South Dakota as the Coyotes.
Thanks, Habiba. That was great.
Thank you so much.
Make sure you guys listen in to Drop a Pin by very own Habiba Ali. Live in the muck for Coyote Sports, I'm Sierra Prue.
Thanks, Sierra. In Vermillion High School sports, both boys and girls soccer had the opportunity to make it to the state championship game if they beat the number 2 ranked T Area Titans. The number 3 ranked Tanager boys played the Titans on Sunday, but were unable to put up any points in the contest and were sent home after a 4-0 loss. The Titans will play against Sioux Falls Christian in the state championship game for Class A after the Chargers defeated St. Thomas More 5-0. After their win over St. Thomas More, the number 3 ranked Tanager girls also played the Chargers on Sunday. Despite scoring 2 goals, the Lady Tanagers were also unsuccessful in defeating the Chargers and eventually lost 4-2 in the end of regulation. The Chargers will advance to the Class A girls championship game to play West Central, who defeated Sioux Falls Christian 2-0 in their semifinal game. And that's all for your Coyote Sports. Coming up on Coyote News, we find out what candy students would be excited to find in their Halloween bags.
The Vermillion Area Arts Council believes the vibrant presence of the visual, performance, and literary arts is essential to a sustainable community, so come get creative at the VAC.
Gallagher Center for Experiential Learning and Education Abroad provides students once-in-a-lifetime opportunities through many of our student-centered programming.
Through the Gallagher Center, I could find experiences such as service learning, study abroad, national student exchange, and undergraduate research.
Visit our website to learn more about all the cool things you can do through the Gallagher Center.
This is Coyote News.
COVID-19 may have put a damper on this year's Halloween weekend, but that doesn't mean students can't enjoy some candy on their own.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what their favorite Halloween candy was.
And here's what they had to say.
Snickers, because there's like so many variations that you can like put with it, like ice cream.
Snickers, just because I love caramel, and peanuts.
Peanut butter M&Ms, because I love peanut butter and I love chocolate.
Kit Kat, because I feel like everyone likes a Kit Kat.
Kit Kats, because they're crunchy and chocolatey.
Kit Kats, because they're very simple.
Toblerone, it's not really a candy, but it's my favorite chocolate.
Starburst, because there's so many flavors.
Is Milk Duds, because they're chocolate and caramel.
Just Kisses, because I don't know, chocolate, I feel like is the best.
It'd be Twix, because I like caramel and chocolate.
Probably Twix, because you get that caramel and chocolate. Left Twix is definitely better.
M&Ms, because you can never go wrong with chocolate.
Bubblegum, and that's just because I just like chewing on something, tasting something all day.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
This is Peanut Butter Cups.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Twizzlers, just because I don't know, I just love the kind of candy.
I'm not a huge fan of candy, but if I have to eat a Halloween candy, I'm probably going to go with candy corn. It's a classic. You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, I think I may have to go with Kit Kats just because you get that nice break and then the crunch, and it's just so simple and easy.
I'm not a huge fan of chocolate, so I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that. Be sure to pick up this week's issue of The Volant out today with a look into the celebration of Indigenous people and their cultures at USD.
That's all for Coyote News. Be sure to like us on Facebook, as well as follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
And watch and listen for Coyote News daily updates throughout the week on KAOR and the Coyote News social media pages.
Thank you, and have a great night.